key witnesses will begin to take the stand in the Kilpatrick corruption trial.
Yeah, this is set to be one of the most monumental cases ever in Detroit.
And what comes out on the stand this week could make or break the case on either side.
7 Action News investigator Heather Catallo has a preview.
The federal investigation into Detroit's former mayor took years to complete. And now that the first witnesses are about to take the stand, the feds are starting at the beginning, not in Detroit, but Lansing. 7 Action News has learned that the opening days of testimony will focus on Kwame Kilpatrick's time in the State House of Representatives more than a decade ago. Kilpatrick, his father Bernard Kilpatrick, former city contractor Bobby Ferguson, and ex-Water Department Director Victor Mercado are all charged with racketeering and conspiracy, accused of running a criminal enterprise.
Certainly, because it goes right to the fabric of society.
Former Detroit FBI Special Agent in Charge Dan Roberts oversaw the Kilpatrick investigation in its earliest days.
And we want to be able to prove to society that our public officials, our elected officials in particular, are doing their jobs. They're doing what they're getting paid to do without interference and without corruption.
According to the 100-page grand jury indictment, starting in 1999, Kilpatrick, Ferguson, and Bernard Kilpatrick fraudulently obtained more than $650,000 from state grants and donors to Kilpatrick's various nonprofits. Assistant U.S. attorneys will bring in witnesses that will testify about Kilpatrick's cash flow and how money from state grants was allegedly spent on personal expenses for Kwame and Carlita Kilpatrick, as well as remodeling Ferguson Enterprises, including buying new air conditioners at the company's office in Detroit. According to the indictment, as the Democratic floor leader in the House, Kilpatrick agreed to support a proposed state budget on the condition that a $500,000 state grant be given to an alleged Ferguson nonprofit called Detroit 3D. The feds also allege Kilpatrick arranged for a $300,000 grant for the nonprofit Vanguard Community Development Group. Bishop Edgar Van started Vanguard and is expected to testify soon in the case. One of Kilpatrick's former co-defendants turned government witness allegedly played a role in those grants, but don't expect Derek Miller to take the stand yet.
You don't bring in a cooperator. You don't want to make them featured players because they're subject to cross-examination, and also as a prosecutor, you're not sure how trustworthy they are.
Other witnesses expected to testify this week: former members of Kilpatrick's mayoral executive protection unit and former state Senate Majority Leader Dan DeGrow. As for those state grants, Ferguson's attorney said in opening statements on Friday that there was no fraud, that real work for the community was done with that money. Testimony begins tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Reporting at the federal courthouse in downtown Detroit, I'm Heather Catallo, 7 Action News.
Now, our investigators have been all over this case from the very beginning. You'll want to stick with 7 Action News for the best coverage, including live updates from court and in-depth reports.